this will end row 14. So for row 15, you want to start off by chaining 4, turn, find this first center chain 3 space and put a double crochet, chain 3, next chain 3 space, put a double crochet and chain 3, and then we're going to start on our large motif here. So in the very first double crochet, you'll put a double crochet, chain 1, and in the very next part of the V-stitch you will put a double crochet. It's just like you did here, just repeating this again. So chain 1, and then now you'll be skipping 1, so every other one. So we're going to skip the next one, and then the next one we're going to put a double crochet, chain 1, then skip the next one. You're going to continue to do that, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, until you get to the very last V-stitch of this large motif, just like before. Here we go. We'll skip this one and go right into the first double crochet of this V-stitch on the end, and chain 1, and then work another double crochet in the last V-stitch area. So you have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 double crochets. So then you want to chain 3, skip this first section, and then the next put a double crochet in the center chain, and then you want to repeat chain 3, double crochet, 1, 2, 3 more times. So chain 3, this is going to be 1, chain 3, this will be 2, chain 3, and this will be 3. Then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. We should have 4 spaces, and we do. Then we want to start on our large motif again. Here, remember, working double crochet, chain 1, double crochet on the V-stitch, and then you'll be skipping 1, double crochet, chain 1, and do that all the way to the end until you reach the other V-stitch. It's going to be exactly the same thing we did here. So repeat for the row from here to here over and over again, and then when you get to the end, I'll show you how to finish it. Finished my large motif on the end here, then I chain 3, and then in this next space here, this next following space here, we skip, and then we go right into the next one, put a double crochet, then chain 3, and you want to find, this is your chain 6 here on the end, so you want to skip the first chain, go into the second chain, and put a double crochet in that second chain. Then you want to chain 1, and then skip another chain, which would be the third chain, and then now in the fourth chain, put a double crochet. And that is going to end row 15. So for row 16, you're going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, turn, and you're going to skip this first double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and go right into this first chain 3 space and put a double crochet in the center chain, then chain 3, and we're going to go right into our big cluster now. This is the the big motif. This is our cluster round where you go in 1 double crochet, pull through only 2 loops, then you go through the chain in the center, and then you go through the next double crochet, and then you chain 3, and then you go right back into that same double crochet to begin your next cluster, and then your chain, and then the next double crochet, then chain 3, just like we did before. So we're going to go right into that first one, pull through 2, go through the chain in the center, pull through 2, and go through the double crochet, pull through 2, then pull through all 4 loops, chain 3. Go back in that same double crochet to begin the next cluster, and then the chain space. Anyway, you remember this. And then the next double crochet, and always chain 3 after you finish your cluster, just like we did before right here. And you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 clusters when you're done. So continue that, and I'll see you when you get done. Okay, I just got done with my clusters here, and then I chained 3. Then we want to skip this next chain 3 space and move over to the next, and put your double crochet, chain 3. And then you'll move over to the next chain 3 space, double crochet, chain 3. Then one more time, moving to the next, double crochet, chain 3. Should have 3 spaces. We'll be creating our 4th when we start this next one, which is our cluster again. We're working on our large motif here. So going right in to start my first cluster on my next large motif, and chain 3. Okay, so you should have 4 spaces in between one motif to the next, and repeat this section over and over again for your whole row. And then when you get to the end here, I'll show you how to finish the row. Just made it to the end of my row, did my clusters, did my chain 3. You want to skip this first chain 3 section, and then in the next one you want to do your double crochet in the center chain, then chain 3 again, and then in this chain 4 at the beginning you want to skip the first chain, and in the second chain you want to do a double crochet to end your row. And that is the end of row 16. So for row 17, which is the end of the repeat, by the way, this next row. So you want to chain 4 and turn. Then you want to do a double crochet in the center chain, chain 3. We're going to be skipping this next chain 3 space and going right into the first chain 3 between our clusters here, and you want to put a double crochet there. Chain 3, move on over to your next chain 3 section, double crochet, chain 3, move over to your next chain 3 section and chain 3. Double crochet and chain 3. Now here we're in the middle. We're going to do just like we did before. We're going to put a double crochet in the first chain, skip the middle one, we'll chain 1, and then we'll put a double crochet in the last chain. So we're going to be working 2 chains of this chain 3. So in the first chain, put a double crochet. We're not going to be chaining 1, we're going to be actually chaining 3 in between these 2 double crochets. And then in the last chain here, put a double crochet. Now we've created a V-stitch in our center area here. Now we'll just chain 3, work a single crochet in the center, a double crochet in the center chain, and the next 3 chain 3 spaces between our clusters here. And that's how we finish our big cluster here. Then you'll chain 3, you'll skip this first chain 3 section, and then the next you'll put a double crochet. And then you want to chain 3, and in the next chain 3 space put a double crochet, and then chain 3, and we'll be starting our large motif again. So again, you'll skip this section completely and go right into this first section, first chain 3 section between our first 2 clusters. So you'll be repeating this pattern from here to here over and over again. You should have 3 spaces in between, and when you get to the end, I'll show you how to finish the row. Okay, I just got done with my last chain 3 between my cluster, and then my double crochet between my cluster, and then I chain 3. You'll skip this first chain 3 spot, and then this is your chain 6. You'll want to skip the first chain of the chain 6 and then put a double crochet. Chain 1, skip the next chain, and then the following chain put a double crochet, and that will end row 17. And that also ends the repeat, because essentially now you're going to be doing this, which is the first row. But because you were doing it on a chain here and not on top of the actual motif, I'm going to show you how to get started on this next row. Then after that, you can just rewind the video to the very first one if you need, and continue on from there and make it as long as you want. So let's do the next row together, which is going to be row 18. You want to start off by chaining 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you can remember from the very beginning chain, we skipped over to the 7th and began. So it's the same. So you'll skip these first 2 and you'll move over to this first chain 3 section, and you'll put a double crochet there. And again, you'll chain 3. And you're going to move on over and put a double crochet here. Closest, it could be in the middle, it can be closest to the double crochet. The chart kind of puts it here, closer to the double crochet, but it really doesn't matter, I don't think. We'll chain 3. And now we're going to move all the way over to our V here. 1, 2, 3, yes. So we're going to move all the way over to our little V section here in the center, and you're going to be working 5 double crochets in the first double crochet here. So you're actually going to skip 1, 2 double crochets, and in this third you're going to put 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then you want to chain 1, and in the center chain here, put a double crochet. So hard to find a center chain sometimes. Again, chain 1, and now on your other double crochet, you want to put 5 double crochets worked into the same stitch. And 5. So then you want to chain 3. Now you'll be skipping this chain 3 space here next to the double crochet 5 cluster, not cluster, but double crochet 5. Then also the next chain 3 space as well. So this chain 3 space, you're going to put a double crochet in the center chain. Then chain 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more times you'll want to do double crochet, chain 3. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you want to chain 3. So make sure we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're good. We did a total of 6 spaces in between, but we're about to make our 6th here. You want to skip over again, all the way into the V stitch here, and put your 5 double crochets. And you'll be repeating this for the rest of the row, doing exactly what you did here. Like I said, you'll have 6 spaces in between one large motif to the next. Continue that for the row, and I'll show you what to do at the end of the row. Just finished my last big motif for the row. And again, you skip those 2, and then the third space you'll put your double crochet. Then you'll want to chain 3. And the next chain 3 space, put a double crochet, and chain 3, and then your chain 4 at the beginning, you will skip the first chain, and then the next chain you'll put a double crochet, and that's it. That is the repeat of the motif pattern. Now I'll show you a picture to remind you. I went ahead and kept going, and I did another large motif in the center, and then it reached about the length that my sister-in-law asked for, so I stopped. But you can keep going and make the vest as long as you want, or whatever you may be making with this stitch. So just continue that. You can rewind the video, and I just showed you this row here where we're making our double crochets. So then you can start on the next one where we turn those 5 double crochets into clusters, and we create our 5 double crochet there in the center. And you just continue that pattern as big as you want, and then when you're done, I will show you how to make the back and the straps. Okay, so once I got it the size that I wanted, and you don't have to do this, but I wanted to have more of a thicker feel around the edge, just to give it more strength all the way around. What I did is I chained 1 and I turned, and in each double crochet area I put 1 single crochet, and in each of these spaces, these chain 3 spaces that we had, I would put 2 single crochets worked in that space. So I would put 1 single crochet in all the stitches, and then in all the spaces I put 2. And this is, like I said, this is optional. You don't have to do this. See, I ended here, so I'm going to be putting 1 single crochet in each of these regular stitches. And only in the large spaces where I have a chain 3. Here, this one I'm only going to put 1. It's only the chain 3 spaces that I put 2. The rest I just put 1 single crochet in it. So I don't know what row that you're ending on, but only in the chain 3 spaces put 2. I did try to like put 3 in the same space to even it out, but it just kind of seemed like it was too much. And if it does seem like it's too much for you, then you can also reduce. Maybe only put 1 chain in each one, depending on the size of your yarn or whatever. But it seemed to do pretty good for me. So like I said, it's optional, and you can go around the sides and do the same thing. The ones where you have a chain 6 that you may have a big one here, I'd put 2 single crochets in it, and then the smaller ones like this one here where there was a chain 4 and I moved down the chain to do a double crochet, it left a smaller space, I'd put 1. And these spaces here I put 1. And between the double crochets on the side, I put 1. So it's up to you, continue around, and I didn't really do anything too special on the corners, I don't think. Maybe put 2 on each corner. But at the bottom of the vest, you may even want to do a nice ruffle border or something. It's up to you. I don't know how advanced you are. I'm guessing if you're doing this kind of pattern, you're kind of advanced. But anyway, that's what I did. I put 1 in each row all the way around. So like I said, it's optional. You don't have to do that, but it does make it easier all around to count out the stitches. So if anything, I recommend at least just doing the top, and then that's it. You don't have to go all the way around, but at least just do the top wherever your last row was, and then I will see you back here. Okay. I don't know why I ripped them out a second ago. I just had to go back and do them again. So anyway, I got my single crochets all the way down my border. And even if you go all the way around, you're going to end up back up here anyway. So you'll have the whole thing single crocheted, 1 whole row. And then when you do, and you get to the end on this side, you will chain 1 and turn. Now what I did for my vest is she didn't want it to come like in front, as you can see on my pictures that I'll show you. She kind of just wanted it to go along the side so that it doesn't like go forward and grab things, because things that have a lot of holes like this tend to grab things. So she didn't really want it to come out in front, and she didn't want it to close either, so she just kind of wanted it to hang. So I didn't put a lot of room between starting the strap. I counted over, if you're going to do if you're doing the size that I did, I marked out 16 stitches from the corner over. So I counted 16 stitches, and then I put a marker, and then that was my flap for the front. So this is how you can count how many of a flap that you want to be in front of the vest. This is the part that will be over. And keep in mind, if you're making this for a woman, obviously you probably are, how big of chest breast that she has, because that's also going to play a part in how much you need to fold over for it to, you know, cover as much as she wants, whoever you're making it for. So if you have the model, now would be a good chance to put it on her and test. If not, then you can guess. So anyway, I marked out, like I said, 16 stitches. So if you're making it for the same size as me, you can mark out 16 stitches. If not, then you have to figure it out. But this is the distance that will be covering the front. And then once you know that, then you place your marker wherever you want. And then from here to the next part will be how big, how big that you are going to want your hole for your arm to be. And I chose 19 stitches for that. So I had 16 here that marked the front, and then I moved over, counted another 19 stitches for the armhole, which for the girl I made, it was plenty. So I don't know how big you really need to make it, but I'm pretty sure for most sizes 19 stitches is going to be plenty. So this is just a swatch, so it's going to be difficult to show you, but I'm just gonna kind of give you an example. That's going to be my first 16 stitches. It'll be my flap going over, and then you count over 19 stitches. And again, this is just guessing. I'm not doing 19 stitches. And this will be where your hole will be for your arm. Okay, so you'll do the same for this side as well. You'll count over 16, then you'll count over 19, or how many ever you want to, count over to make the flap. And then you'll mark here. And then whatever's left in between will be for your back space. And of course, this is a swatch, so this part's very small for me. But anyway, whatever space is left from after you mark the corners, this little small space in the back will be your back space. And it'll be different for everyone. Mine, I started it and I just did the chain mesh. I only planned to do the chain mesh through the whole thing, and then I realized when I got up a little ways that I actually had a little more than 36 stitches, which is about, not 36 stitches, I had, I don't remember, I had enough to put the large motif, the total of the large motif, and still have a little bit on the side. So I went ahead and gave it a shot, and I actually was able to fit a large motif back there. So depending on how big this back space is, you can make the back a little ways, just like I did, and then you can try to add like a large motif. And you've done it here, so you know how to do it. And I just went right off of what I just showed you before. I just started off counting over. You can use this on the end here, because you finish on a row here. So you pretty much got this right here for you. And then the large motif, and then you just repeat what you did on this side, which is pretty much what you did on this end as well. So you just kind of follow the pattern here, here, and then the motif. And you can put a motif in the middle, or you can just do the chains. It's up to you. Like I said, it was kind of like a last minute thing. So in the pattern, I show you that I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of the of this before I decided to go ahead and make the motif. And if you want to check that out on the pattern, if you decide to do it, then go for it. But most people will have different size backs, so it's very difficult to say, you know, do the large motif in the middle. Maybe you'd have enough to put 2 large motifs and another small motif like this that you see on the screen there. And if you can, then I would recommend doing that because it's going to look a lot better if you're making a bigger vest. So you can just keep repeating the row. That's how you mark it out for your arms. And then just continue on. And you'll want to continue from this marker, obviously, because this is going to be your armhole. So here to here, wherever your marker is, this is where you're going to be doing your back space. So you'll want to cut your yarn and attach it here. Since this is a demo, I don't want to cut my yarn, so I ran over and I grabbed some more. This is the kind of yarn I used for the vest that I made for my sister-in-law. Yael is her name. So I attached it here in this spot, or actually next to it, not this spot, but the chain, I mean the single crochet next to it. Just let me get a little closer. And I did a slip stitch to attach it. And I recommend not having a small tail like this, but probably a longer tail so that you can work it in with a tapestry needle. So what I did is essentially what we were doing here every time we started a row. It was alternating, you know, chain 6, chain 4, but I was kind of doing the chain 6, 3, sorry, this paper is driving me crazy. It's blowing in the wind. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I started off by chaining 6. I'd move over to my next chain 3 section and I would put a double crochet. Chain 3, move over to my next chain 3 section, do double crochet. You're just continuing the same kind of mesh look that you were doing before until you make it over to your marker, which I'm going to pretend is my large mesh area over here, the beginning of it here, pretending that that's the end of my back. So